And then we are about to actually level up the conversation. For the next session, I want to invite two of my amazing colleagues who are joining us virtually. Abhishek, can you please project it? It's going to be AI-assisted BA, PO, and PDM then versus now, a proven transformation. I'm sure it got all of you very excited. They will talk us through how AI is already transforming the industry, and also about some ethical guardrails that are really important when you're using AI. So joining us are Malar and Soumya. My colleagues, Malar is an AI-powered BA and product owner. She's the AI EPAM ambassador as well. Predominantly worked in healthcare industry, and she's here to share her insights. Along with her is Soumya, who's an AI enthusiast BA who's over 7 years of experience. So over to you, Malar and Soumya.
Thank you, Mani. Am I audible clearly? Am I audible, everyone?
Yes, yes, Mala, you're audible.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the introduction, Mani. And before I would like to start the session, right, I would like to give some brief about me. Uh, you know, till 2022, I would like to call myself as a technical BA, technical product owner. That's how I introduce myself. Even in my social, you will see I have named myself as a technical BA, technical product owner only. But if we take a quick shift to 2025, I have a label AI BA, AI empowered BA, because that best describes what I'm doing right now. First of all, I'm working in Gen AI projects or AI ML projects, so I'm working in AI solutions. Next is, even if I work in some non AI features as well, AI is everywhere in my business analysis activity. Whatever the activity that I do from start till the end, AI is always there. Sometimes it plays a minor role, sometimes it plays a major role, sometimes completely autonomous as well. And that is what we are going to see today. So, first, we'll be starting with how we were doing it traditionally, and then how we are doing it now with our proven metrics. We did a POC on a adoption, and then now we have implemented it throughout our account as well. So, we'll be showing that metrics, and we have some agents ready as well. So, with that agents I'm working right now, I'll be showing that demo to you. And we have another colleague, Soumya. So he have recently implemented the AI adoption POC in his account for business analysis. So we'll be discussing about that with him. And finally, we will talk about AI ethics and compliance and governance and best practices that we can do in our Gen AI solutions. So let's start with the session. Okay, some of us would be working in all the phases, like how I described, from the discovery, conceptualization, initiation or ideation, till the support as well, right? And some people would be working only in the design phase, development phase, after the discovery too. But despite of our roles and responsibilities, right, so this is how BAs are working, right? So you may be in the discovery phase, you may be in the development phase. So whatever the work we do, we were doing it manually with some tools, of course, till 2022. If you just take me as an example, you know let us start with discovery phase. I'll be doing this market analysis, user research, all that stuff. Let me talk about that user research. So first of all, I'll do this market segmentation, user segmentation, all that stuff, and we will prepare for the user research. We will choose the technique, we will choose the techniques we need to do, and we'll prepare our format, we'll do some trial, and then we'll go for the user research. And during the user research, we will have a person who will be a note taker, and he will be taking notes while we are doing our user research, despite of the technique we do, right? So after the user research, we will take another 1.5 month to create the user research insights, and then we will derive some features out of it. What is the then now all that prioritization, everything will comes up. But not anymore, you know so what I did in 2023, I had to work in a Gen AI project. So before that, I was working in machine learning projects where, I didn't thought of using the AI in business analysis. But in 2023 early phase, I had to work in a Gen AI projects. I did a quick, crash course because I have to work. I have to work as a product manager in that particular project. So I have to learn it very quickly. I did learn, but while learning it, I thought, why don't we use it for our business analysis activity as well? So initially, it started off with, for initial research kind of activities that I was using. Gradually, I used it for creating the features, user stories, acceptance criteria, all that stuff. But gradually, in 2024, I thought, okay, why don't we implement it as a adoption for our project, right? So because I was leading a team of BAs, and I thought, why don't we implement for our entire project? So I started off with building this prompt library first, because I need to show some examples to my BAs if I want to do something, right? So I started building this tools cheat sheet, AI tools, and along with the prompts library. And I was tracking everything manually, like what are my manual hours when I do this feature. Then when I took the similar feature, right, I had to include my fellow BAs as well. So when I include the fellow BAs who are also A enthusiasts, so I have given this tools and prompts to them on, and also gave them the training on how to work here, so that you can use AI for your business analysis activity, and we are going to track the hours. So we did a POC on that, and here is the result of that POC. So especially in user stories and acceptance criteria, right? So at that particular POC, we created like 120 user stories and acceptance criteria combining multiple similar features. But you could see the effort savings, right? And not only that, you can see how many hours it saved for user insights generation and data analysis and insight generation. It was everywhere. But this was in 2024 yearly phase. But we didn't stop there. We have grown. We even looked into many other tools, and we have implemented throughout our account as well. So I have given training for the entire account, and even for the product managers and business analysis, and we have implemented throughout our account as well. And we start off with every activity, not only user stories and acceptance criteria creation, but also in diagramming, in Figma designs, everywhere wherever it is possible we are using AI. But we have to use AI really very carefully. Okay, we have to know the pros and cons of the model that we are using and the tools that we are using, so that we can use it in a right way. For example, I was talking about user research, competitor analysis, market analysis, right? So coming to market analysis, you need the current market trend for when you do this market analysis. But what if you're using some model, let's say you're using some GPT-4 or anything that is released like in 2024? If you check with the model, what is your knowledge cutoff? It will tell the knowledge cutoff date. If you are using some model that has the knowledge cutoff of 2023 or 2024, how will you get the current market results, right? So you have to use the models that has connection to the open internet, or you have to use the model that is latest, released just now. Okay, so here I have given some examples, that is external tools such as Gemini with Google search, and Perplexity and Grok, which is best for doing the market analysis or competitor analysis. But with care, you should not reveal your client's idea, client name, all this initial ideation, which is sometimes patented as well. So you should not reveal that. But with care, you can use that. And within our EPAM, we have many tools available, like Dial X is available, which has Gemini as well, and we have other internal EPAM tools which has the Google search capability too. So use the tool wisely. And similarly, if you take every activity that we do, for example, if you take documentation analysis, requirement analysis, or feasibility analysis, you definitely need some RAG models, but also with thinking and reasoning capability. Because without thinking, if you use some model, the when I compare it, it was not giving the best performance. So you have to use RAG models and thinking and reasoning models here. And similarly, if we talk about every activity here, there are different tools we need to use for different activities. So what we did as a group of BAs, we have created a AI BA tools cheat sheet for each and every activity, and we have researched around its performance, efficiency, and safety, because data, we are passing our data, right? So we need to do with care. So we have whitelisted some tools and blacklisted some tools, and finally we created this AIBA tools cheat sheet, which we will be releasing it post the session. Now, in coming to creating epics features, user stories, again, you need to think about, we need to choose some models that is having the consistent structuring, right? So you need to choose some models that is providing you with the capability of doing this system prompt, right? And also, not only at the documentation or textual level, now models can create diagrams as well, right? So as a BA, we may need to create a lot of diagrams, and for the diagrams, you may use Lucidchart or Draw.io or Miro, all that stuff. Currently, those applications are also providing the AI capabilities to you. Especially, I'm fascinated around these tools: Miro AI, FigJam AI, Diagram GPT, Lucid AI for external tools, and also within our EPAM, we have EPAM Dial, and Dial is also a public platform as well. You can use it with Dialex. So Dialex can also create diagrams, and also we have a EPAM internal tool called CodeMe. CodeMe can also create a lot of high-level diagrams as well as the low-level diagrams. And coming to Figma, of course, you have to go to the plugins and see the AI generated Figma design, and you will have many. But that is, using some other production ready tools that is already available. But now the trend is MCP, right? Model Context Protocol, Anthropic's MCP. So with MCP server, you can do many things. Like you can do the web scraping, you can connect to your database, you can connect to your Figma directly and create the user stories and acceptance criteria, even coding out of it. You can do many things with MCP right now. Okay, all right. And before, I'm going to talk more about it, I would like to show you some demo that what I have done for my recent project. So in my recent project, right, so I had to understand the existing application. So when I stepped onto this project, they told me, there is one existing application available, and I need to understand the existing application first, and then I need to develop this new application. But coming to this existing application, they have given me the code base. Okay, and I had to do the white box reverse engineering and also black box reverse engineering. I was the developer in my career, so I can do white box reverse engineering as well, no problem. But we have AI right now, right? Why should I do it manually? Yeah. So I created an assistant, reverse engineering assistant in CodeMe, and it can connect to the code base and it can create the technical and functional documentation to me. But I need to write the prompt in such a way to do all of that. That is there, and I've created one assistant for that. And there is another assistant that I created for doing my understanding my requirement elicitation and creating the product owner or BA related artifacts. What I did was I did this requirement elicitation, and I had this notes that I have taken during the requirement elicitation, and AI also created the notes, of course. And after that, there is this transcript file and some documentations was available for this new application that we are developing. And there are so many Confluence pages as well. But this artifact that you need to generate, you need to copy as much as possible from the existing application, and you need to develop this. So I know it manually. How would AI know it, right? So first I have created a first assistant for reverse engineering, second assistant for understanding this as is documentation from the reverse engineering assistant, and then taking all my requirement elicitation artifacts and creating a business analyst artifacts to me. And that is not enough, right? I need to document all of that in Jira. I need to create epics, features, user stories, acceptance criteria, all of that. So I created another assistant for that. So this assistant will do this Jira documentation. But still, all these assistants are separately available. All these are assistants, of course, it is going to help me. So then I thought, okay, let me combine all this assistant and I create a agentic AI approach. So here, we are going to show you a demo on that. So this is my application. You see, I'm just asking, create the assist documentation for the existing application APIs, because I'm going to create the APIs for my new application. So this is what I have done. And this is old stories. You can see, 20 or 24 stories were available. Now it is doing this reverse engineering by taking the code base and creating the functional and technical documentation for me, which it will do it autonomously. And it automatically passing that as documentation to the second agent. This is my second agent, and it is actually processing my business, the recommended elicitation artifacts, and the reverse engineering as well. Now it is asking me what is the artifact that I wanted to develop. I may want to develop use case, user story, or anything, right? So here I have fed in the user story and acceptance criteria need to be developed, right? So this agent will send it to this agent again for developing this business analyst artifacts. So once it is generated, that it will automatically pass it to the next agent, Jira agent. You see this Jira? So this Jira is now going to create the user story, acceptance criteria, epics for me. Let's refresh and see. See, 44 stories have created, right? So epics, user stories, acceptance criteria, all are created. But manual review will definitely be there. We cannot skip it. We cannot say that, it is 100% accurate. There will be no change at all, something like that. So I have to, I'm the one who have crafted all this assistance in a way like according to my project context. And I'll be the one who will be reviewing it and then make the changes whatever is needed. And finally, I'm the one who will be controlling this product backlog, right? So this manual review will definitely be there. But think about this, right? So you can run this agent and then you can do some other activity that is relevant to this project. You can see how beautifully it have created this, it have created the epic, and it have even create it is even linked the user stories with the epic as well. So I don't need to think about, dependency, all that stuff. It will create the dependency for me, it will create everything for me, but you are the one who have to write the prompt accordingly, choose the model accordingly. Yeah. So coming to EPAM tools, right? So in EPAM we have many tools available for facilitating all this. One such tool is AI Genie. AI Genie is specifically designed for BAs and product managers. It can integrate with Jira, Azure DevOps, or any other tools as well. And it can develop the epics, user stories, and diagrams, whatnot. It is doing all these activities for us. In addition to that, we have this Elitia and CodeMe, which is also our EPAM internal tools. And within this tool, you can even not only business analysis, you can do the complete SDLC automation as well over here. And even you can connect to MCP, model context protocol servers, and you can create your own servers, and you can do this conversation as well. And code may also support agent to agent. You can connect to external agents as well. You can create some assistants here and you can connect to external agents too. And dial, which is also a public platform which combines, multiple models together, image generation, image recognition, drag models, and could dial also have their own applications as well. So it's a very powerful platform. And now I have listed out only 5 tools here, but in fact, EPAM has so many tools available. EPAM has, the number of tools that I cannot fit it within the slide, which you can see if for EPAM internal people, go to leap.epam.com. You can see all the tools over there. Now, let me try to introduce my another colleague who have recently implemented the AI adoption in his account. So Soumya, could you please talk about your AI experience?
For the past 6 months, I have been actively involved in the AI project. So, where I explored the application of the AI in requirement analysis and process automation and decision support. So, my work generally focused on leveraging the AI. AI with enhancing the efficiency in the business and analysis workflow. So this experience has provided me with hands-on exposure to AI-powered documentation, data validation, and helping streamline the BA processes and improve the decision making for the BA.
Okay. You have recently implemented the AI adoption POC for your account, right? What was the specific problem that you were trying to solve?
So the main challenge I addressed in my POC was time-consuming nature of the requirement documentation and analysis. So business analysts often spends hours going through the scattered inputs, notes, emails, and legacy documents to create structured user stories, identify gaps, and validate those data. So this process not only delays the project timeline, but also risk of inconsistency and missed details. So the objective of my POC was to introduce the AI to automate and streamline these activities, reducing efforts, improving the documentation quality, and enabling faster and data-driven decision making.
Right. So you have implemented this POC, right? Can you walk over the POC?
Okay, we used the AI tool Elitia. So, as a business analyst, we followed a structured process, starting with the requirement gathering. Agent. So then, generally we then convert those into nodes, emails. The old requirements to structured requirements, so mapping them into the user journey, and finally creating the user stories with acceptance criteria. So while effective, the manual process can be time consuming and complex. So in my POC, we took this process a step further by implementing a multi-agent system. So at the core of the system is a master agent that connects with the multiple specialized agents, each handling a specific aspect of requirement analysis. So now we can start the recording. So this is how, we can see how Elitia turns an unstructured output into an actionable item. So we give the input as the unstructured requirement to the master agent chat. So instead of manually breaking down the requirement, we integrate the AI model to analysis of the business requirement. So we extract key insights. So it processes the unstructured requirements and like the meeting notes, emails, and old requirement documentation, and generate the user flow afterwards, and based on the contextual understanding of the AI. So we have already linked the data sources, the existing user journey, so enabling seamless updates and preserving the flows and efficiency. And lastly, producing the structured output, the user stories and acceptance criteria. So it generally transforms the raw requirement into structured output, actionable output, speeding up the documentation process, and while improving the clarity and consistency. So we also have the review and feedback agent, where it evaluates the user stories and acceptance criteria by comparing them with the historical documents and input requirement. So it generally ensures quality, completeness, and alignment, helping identify gaps and inconsistencies early. So this or AI automates and improves business analysis by speeding up the requirement processing and generating the user journey and user stories, ensuring quality reviews. So also empowering our BA to deliver more, smarter and faster. Yeah.
Okay, so in your case, I can understand that you have an agent. So that agent will create the unstructured output into structured output and create user stories out of it. But there is a reviewer agent, which is also an AI. That AI is evaluating the effectiveness of the AI output. AI evaluating AI. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, all right. So, what did you achieve out of this POC that you have implemented?
So in our POC, we use the tool. in key phases of the project. So the impact was quite significant, starting with the requirement analysis. So we started extracting the insights from the previous documentation and even the unstructured notes, the emails, and the previous documentation. So saving up to around 50% of the effort. So this gave us the clarity early on and helped flag gaps early, quickly. And when it comes to user story writing, so AI really helped speed up things. So it is about 46% saving. So it converts the raw requirement into well-structured stories, including the edge cases, and which saved a lot of manual effort. So overall, the AI wasn't just a time saver; it improved the quality, consistency, and helped us focus more on value-added driven work.
Right. But whenever we bring any kind of, AI adoption or any change, right, we might need to convince the client and all. So what are the challenges you have faced during this AI adoption?
So one of the biggest hurdle was data quality.
Mhm.
So AI is only good as the data it learns from. So we often deal with unstructured and incomplete or outdated data, so which can impact accuracy. So ensuring clean, structured data becomes a priority. So it took a lot of time to do all those cleaning up all the data. So another challenge was stakeholder resistance. So many teams were skeptical about trusting the AI-driven insight. So so they often wanted human intervention to validate the output before fully accepting it.
Right. So in your case, what are the metrics you use to evaluate the quality of your AI generated output?
So we followed a layered validation approach to
Mhm.
ensure the AI output are accurate and reliable. First, we have a subject matter expert in loop. So every AI generated output is reviewed by the human before it is implemented. So this keeps the final decision aligned with the business need. And second, we cross validated the output with the historical data. So we compared them against the past documentation, to know the pattern. If there is a mismatch, if we dig deeper to resolve it, and this way AI acts as a smart assistant, but the final judgment always rests with the experienced humans. So we have evaluated we have reviewed the output with these layers. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So,
So,
what are all the evaluation criteria and metrics you have adopted in your project?
oh yeah, in my project. Okay. So first of all, I'd like to classify this. I am working in a Gen AI solutions as well, and also implementing AI adoption for business analysis as well. So in both the cases, prompt evaluation and model evaluation is very much mandatory. In my case, as you stated, the first thing was SME in loop, manual evaluation about the accuracy of the output. That is a very easy way and a quicker way to, start with your application or start with your evaluation. But later, I have implemented this thing in two way. One is, like you have a agent available to evaluate the agent's output, right? Another agent's output. In my case, within prompt itself, I have self-as technique and also react technique. Okay, so within the prompt itself, it will do a loop. It will generate the output and it will automatically do the self-ask and react as well, and it will validate again, it will loop again until it reaches the good quality. So that is one thing. And another thing is that even I have the agent available to evaluate the output and then finally fix the things that is missing, and then finally give the output to the user. But now coming to the metrics, right? The first metric is relevance, like how well the original intent was satisfied. So that is what we called as relevance. And accuracy. So for accuracy, as a human, if this is the input, this is the output you generate, right? So we have to prepare this kind of, golden test data or something. Now, if you compare it with AI generated output, you can get the accuracy, but you cannot do it manually. You have some tools available and some metrics available called as BLEU score, F1 score, precision, all of that. You can use that, and there are some tools available to calculate this accuracy for you. You just need to feed in this two different set of data set, and it will give the value to you. And apart from that, we have consistency, because consistency plays a crucial role in terms of, especially in gen AI solutions. I was also working in this legal domain, where for a particular legal question, we always want the same answer, but you know how our model behaves, right? If you are using chat gpt, you might know that every time you ask the same question, but it will produce a different answer. At least one word or two word will be different, right? But we need to achieve consistency in our application. So we had feed in the rag, we just changed it to the rag. We feed in this documents to it and reduced our temperature, and also our top p, top k. There are so many metrics parameters available. We have configured all of that to achieve this consistency. Now, coming to efficiency. Efficiency is always mandatory despite of the solutions that you use, either AI or non AI. You have to consume as much as less resource, but you have to provide the good speed and good performance, and we have to validate that in AI as well. And another important thing is coherence. So how logically your output is structured, right? So that is coming under coherence. And user satisfaction score. So in if you are using chat gpt or gemini, all these tools, you might have noticed that whenever you put in some prompt, the output will be generated, and there will be a thumbs up and thumbs down will be available. That is a easy way to collect the user satisfaction score. But in addition to that, you can do the proper survey and proper feedback as well, like how we do it normally. But that is an easy way, right? For each and every output generated, you can collect this user satisfaction score. And in our elite, we have such thing already available, so we can see that already. And coming to diversity, uh, you know uh, this consistency and diversity, that will go hand in hand. It depends on the use case that you are in, right? So I was working in one of the use case where we need to generate the different recipe for different meal plan. In such case, I really wanted diversity. Every time you should not bring in the same recipe, right? Because that particular recipe plan was focused on the kids, and kids wants diversity, right? So in such case, I was focusing on this model should provide more, this model should be more creative and more bring in more diverse outputs, not consistent always. But in my previous legal case, it need to be consistent. So depends on your use case, you may choose different evaluation metrics for you. And also the task completion and success rate. So whether the intent, what is this particular task need to be, if the task is need to be like creating user story and acceptance criteria, whether it addresses the aspect of all the input that you have given or not. In your prompt, you might have asked it to complete like 8 steps or 9 steps, if you are using chain of thought prompting technique, right? So whether it completed all of that or not in a right accuracy. So that comes under task completion or success rate. In addition to that, perplexity. So especially when you are building some sort of chatbot and you are exposing that to a human users, right? So if in that case, we need to worry about perplexity. If it is an autonomous agent, we may need not worry about it. But in case of chatbot kind of use cases, right, we need to think, we need to validate perplexity as well. Perplexity means how much similar to the human language that the output is relevant to, like it need to generate some message or output that is looking like a human language. So that is perplexity for you. And groundedness is how much it is aligns with the input context. And similarity, it is also similar to accuracy. And coming to safety metrics. So safety metrics, rest of the metrics that I was talking about is more around, whether this particular model is performing or not. Is it producing the right output? Is it production ready? All that stuff. But in addition to all of that, the safety metrics should be top of all of the metrics, I would say personally. Why? Because we are exposing this AI to our end users. So we should be really careful around, it should not provide any harmful content, or it should not contain any hate speech, or it should not have any biased output, right? So especially, in one of, I'm into healthcare, right? So we have many healthcare chatbots now available. So if you go to some healthcare chatbot and tell it, I have a headache, I have a this left hand pain and all of that, suddenly it started giving you the drug names and treatment recommendations for you and lifestyle changes. How will it look like, right? So is it following the laws and regulations or ethics? It is not following that. And let's say, you are generating some harmful content to it. You are asking some sensitive biased question to the chatbot, and the chatbot is acknowledging it and then saying, yeah, 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 this particular race or this particular gender always behaves in this way. How will it look like, right? So the safety metrics is really important in addition to or in top of all the metrics that we are talking about.
Great to know about all these matrices. I'll surely use this in future.
Yep.
So, as a AI, I mean, as AI becomes more powerful and embedded in our daily lives, so how should we rethink about the governance?
Yes, governance, right? So that is very important. When we are talking about governance, before going into governance, the first thing that I wanted to tell everybody is responsible AI, right? So whenever we are building any AI solutions, be it ML solutions or natural language processing or Gen AI solutions, we need to follow responsible AI framework. So under responsible AI framework, we have laws and regulations, and also we have ethics, AI ethics, right? So, in under AA ethics, we have three important terms: privacy, safety, and inclusivity. So, the privacy means, whether how are you handling the sensitive data. In most of my solutions, I always make sure that we are not collecting any sensitive data via AI. That is one thing that I will make sure. But in some cases, that is the need that you need to collect the sensitive data. But while collecting the sensitive data, you need to handle it with proper protocol and proper security, and you should not use that without for using it for your model training or all that stuff, right? So even when I am a user, I'll go to this certain tools like, even Chat GPT or Grok available. I'll first check what are their privacy policies. And in Chat GPT, we have an option to turn off from taking our input and output for model training. If you didn't turn off, they will take your input and output for their model training. Same goes under Grok as well. Not only Chat GPT and Grok, whatever the tool that I use for any business analysis activity, as a user, the first thing that I will do is checking the privacy law. What are their privacy statements that they have produced? Some tools, they will explicitly say, we are not using your data for training our model, and we will not sell your data. We will collect only your user email ID and all that purposes. So that is okay. But there are some models which will openly tell, we are selling your data to a third party. Then I won't use that. But there are another set of tools where they won't tell anything. They won't tell anything at all, and that is coming under explainable AI as well, where they are not following the transparency rule, they are not following the privacy rule. I cannot understand your privacy, and automatically I will not trust your tool, I'll not use that, right? So as a user, I'm thinking all of that while using some tools. Then I should be in the same position while building the AI solutions as well, right? As a product manager or as a business analyst, the first even yesterday I was doing a requirement elicitation for one of our products. So even there I was asking, how do we explain, how do we create this transparency document, how do we fit in within our application, all that stuff, because that is very much mandatory, because in 2023 I have done my first Gen AI solution and I released it to alpha testers and then to beta testers. But the first question that I got is, how are you actually generating this output? This is the input I'm feeding, but how are you generating that? And how are you going to use my data? All these questions I got. So then we have implemented this transparency document, and we have that icon available throughout our application. So whenever they are using AI, they can click on it and they can see how what are we doing with their data. And we are not using their data, we are not using their data for model training or anything, but we are still logging it, anonymizing it, and we are logging it. So we are explaining everything to them. Then they are trusting our application and they are starting to use it, right? So which covers everything like privacy, safety, transparency, and security, compliance, all of that stuff. Now coming to inclusivity, right? So especially when you are building some application that is going to be exposed to the end user or something, even Soumya, you were also talking about feeding with right data. So feeding with right data, also we need to think about feeding with diverse data as well. We should not be feeding with some data that has some bias. So in addition to checking the data quality, how it will generate the right response to me, all that stuff, we need to do one more validation, whether I am feeding any biased data or not, whether I am feeding a diverse data or not. We need to check all this while feeding the data to the AI applications. And now coming to compliance, there are so many laws and regulations they have created, which we will be discussing in next slide. Now coming to auditability. So every model, every application that you create, if we say if we are creating any healthcare applications and our customer base is going to be in US, we need to be HIPAA compliant, right? And for getting the HIPAA compliance, I know there are some tools available which can do the audit for me, and it can certify me as a HIPAA compliant. And similarly, I can say how to do the IODA compliance, I can get the IODA compliance, I know how to do the IODA auditing as well. But what is it for AI? Who will certify that my application is following the responsible AI framework, my application is compliant with all the AI acts? So how do we do that? So actually, there are so many laws and regulations out there. Very recently, we have many changes out there. So one of my legal applications that I was talking about, so we had to release it to a GDPR location, EU location, where they have a AI Act clearly pointed out that we should provide the opt-in, opt-out capability to the user at any time whenever you are implementing an AI feature. So later, we have already developed that application and they have came up with it. And before even we go to the production, right, we quickly implemented that, because we need to follow our governance, we need to follow what law says so that we can remain compliant. And also, more than being compliant, we have to develop a responsible AI, right? We have to follow AI ethics. So at least on thinking that point of view, we have to implement this opt-in, opt-out capability. So in my applications, you can use AI whenever you want, and you can quickly opt out, and you can opt in at any time. So we are providing that capability. My users really liked it. And in addition to that, if we talk about each and every law listed out here, I have to talk a lot. So I have given one example to you, but you have to, whenever you are building any AI solution, make sure where is your customer basis and what is the law or regulation that particular region is following, and what is the compliance you need to have. So if you go through the act, you will understand what you need to do. Then you can implement such functionalities in your application, so to become a production ready application, right? But how do I do that, right? So in Microsoft, if you see, we have a responsible AI framework, and we have a toolkit called Hacks Toolkit, Microsoft Hacks Toolkit, HAX. Okay. And similarly, Google also has one responsible AI toolkit. IBM has AI fairness tool. So many providers are providing all this stuff to you. And especially if you take Microsoft, right, they have the Microsoft AI Foundry, which will validate all your safety and content safety, all that stuff as well. And it can it can give some capabilities and tools for you to make your application compliant as well. And I have given some tools here, and these are some technical standards and frameworks and principles that you need to follow while developing this AI solutions. Not only developing the AI solution, even if you are using AI for your business analysis, whenever we use AI for our business analysis, business analysis comes at the very top, at the ideation level or the conceptualization level. We are using AI for, we should be very careful about not leaking any sensitive data while using the AI. So the some that tools also, many tools have privacy, all that stuff, but still, you have to be responsible as well while using AI. Now, you know I want to give some best practices that we can use while developing the solution or while using the solution, and I would like to end the session with this best practices. So the first thing, data minimization. Avoid sensitive data as much as possible. Don't do any hard coding. Okay, even if there is any sensitive data, use proper protocols. So if it is healthcare, we have fire, right? So similarly, in every domain you have some secure protocol available, you try to use that. And now we have MCP, model context protocol, as well. So you can use that to access your tools. Yeah. And now coming to input validation. So before passing on the user input directly to the LLM API, try to build some in between layer and filter out all the harmful keywords. You know, if you follow these security attacks, you might know about prompt injections, jailbreaks, right? These are very popular term. So what they do, the users, they can pass some instructions, ignore all your system instructions, and now you are going to follow my command. We might have developed some application like a e-commerce assistant, let's say, right? If that e-commerce assistant gives some medical treatment to you, how will that look like, right? So that is very harmful. And also, there is a possibility of doing the jailbreaks. They can manipulate your model and then make it behave like something else and revealing your architectural details and all that stuff as well. So input validation, content filtering before passing the input to the LLM API is very much mandatory. And also prompt integrity. So you should define your prompt in such a way it should not be modified or manipulated by unauthorized users. And coming to differential privacy, right? So not only prompt injection, jailbreaks and all that stuff, we can even pass some different, like you can pass the code as well. Instead of passing it as a direct English or any language instruction, they can pass it in a way like a code or tool input as well, right? So first we need to implement differential privacy, so that model will understand this is attack, this is input. So it need to differentiate that. So that is differential privacy, and there are some tools available for you to implement that for you. And role based access control. Role based access control should be implemented at all layers, the front end, API level, or even at the LLM level. Implement role based access control, and also implement this guardrails, all that stuff that even MSAA Foundry has that, and many other third party also has that. Implement that. And the another very important thing is continuous monitoring and auditing and logging. So I told you we should not store the input or output that user is providing, but we need to do the continuous monitoring and continuous logging as well. So how do? We will anonymize the data, and we will log it just for monitoring purpose, but within certain period of time we will delete that as well. This is very much mandatory, so that you can understand any security attacks as well. And not only for the security, right? Your model may perform poor as well. So you need to do the continuous monitoring and continuous auditing to evaluate the model's performance, and if there are any problem, you need to change that, right? So at least for that, you need to come up with the continuous monitoring and continuous logging tools. And as I was talking about AI Foundry a lot, because I have experience in that, it is providing this continuous monitoring and logging capability to you. And there are some other providers which are also providing the same. And coming to output filtering, again, I have to bring in this Microsoft is having this content safety API. So let's say user have passed the input, and via some API you have send it to the backend, and backend have fed it into the LLM API, and LLM API now generated the output for you. Before sending this output to the front end, let us have one mechanism in between. So, for example, this content safety API, which will check the output, and if there is any harmful content or biased outputs available in the output, it will block the output. It will not send the output to the user. In this way, we are saving our organization and our application as well, and all other future problems, right? So output filtering is mandatory, just like how input validation is mandatory, output filtering is also equally mandatory. And also implement security measures in all layers of application, especially implement guardrails, implement the tools that have the safety mechanism available to you. And the main thing is, user education and safe usage. Sometimes users don't have intent to attack your model, but unintentionally, they will attack your model. So you need to provide the education to them on what are the prompts that they can input, and how to use, how not to use, all that stuff you can educate it to users as well, and that will also prevent a lot of things. But there are people who are intentionally attacking your model, and that's why we have all other best practices for saving our model from all of that. And finally, continuous fine tuning of models is mandatory. I have built in an application with, very like in early 2023, it was GPT 3.5 Turbo. That's how we built the Gen AI solution. Later, it when we did our testing and all of that stuff, it was providing a good accuracy and all that stuff. After we released it to production, then we were seeing some other, since we are doing this continuous monitoring and logging, we could see some changes in that. Then we had to switch the model. We had to switch the model from 3.5 to 4, and now it is some other model altogether. But I'm telling you, this continuous fine tuning of models is very much mandatory, because security threats are emerging, like, this COVID virus, right? So every time you are getting a different virus, different attacks are available. So you have to be very watchful, and you have to fine tune your model and implement all security practices to prevent us from all of that. With saying all of that, I would like to end the session and open for question and answers. Thank you.